What's up, Sneeples? We are here doing another tier list video. We've got two Battle Hardens that happened and a calling. We got another Battle Harden that's probably going to happen by the time this gets uploaded. So we're here doing a tier list video, but this time I have with me a very good player. So, you know, that's why we get you. Peter Buddensiek. How did I nail it? Did I get your last name?
Yeah.
Let's go. Yeah, how you doing, buddy?
Dude, I'm doing great, honestly. It's been a great couple of weeks watching, these Battle Hardens, AG, the calling. It's been great, so I'm excited.
All right. So me and you are planning to do Battle Harden Salt Lake.
Yep.
Nationals is in our backyard, so we're both be doing that for sure. So we're both highly in the competitive field, getting ready for this meta. So let's get to it. Let's start ranking these guys.
Let's get it.
All right. Well, just by happen chance, Kano's the first hero. This is your hero, so I'm gonna let you lead with this. Where you think Kano should be?
Yeah. I've played a lot of Kano. I just top 4'd the AG event in California with Kano.
Okay.
My one thing that I'll say about Kano is there's 10 people in the United States that can win with this character, and that's basically it, right? There's maybe 20 people in the world that can consistently put like top 8s out and consistently win with this character. In this meta, I think he's a C tier.
Okay.
But I think very specific people can easily make runs, and this deck could be like an A or a B tier.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I have been having good results with him in this meta, and I think it's actually well positioned for him. But realistically, he's a C tier character.
You know what? I thought we were gonna have a little bit of a scuffle about this one, but that's exactly where I would have him too. I think you're absolutely right. I think the right pilot can have an A tier.
Oh yeah,
I
mean, if I decide to bring him for an event, like that's just an A tier character. But realistically, if somebody's like picking him up has like maybe a month of experience, it's a C tier character.
Yeah, he's not a month of experience hero. It's
like
a year.
There's very few people like Mo Bogsley, like me, like Brendan Patrick, Majin. Like, if you're not a big name that is like known for playing Kano or playing Wizard, like I wouldn't play him in this meta.
Yeah, for sure. Why is that?
It is a lot of the matchups are really like thin margins, and a lot of them, like Icelander specifically, you will get like absolutely dogged on it unless you understand how to like pitch stack, understand like card density and stuff like that. I think a lot of the matchups can be like pre-hard. Also, the Runeblade getting AB2 chest for free is pretty big. And especially because Icelander is one of the top heroes right now, everybody is packing AB3. So not only do you have to play against all these characters with AB3 naturally, but now you have to be able to play like decks that should not be playing AB3 have AB3 currently. So you don't get like the free games like you used to.
That makes a lot of sense. I actually didn't even think about Dietic Carapace when it came to. I thought about it with Icelander, like especially Bullander, but like I mean it's kind of an Ain't There Ironweave at this point, where it's just like
quite good versus the Wizards. I will say with the Bullseye Bracers ban, Kano is even into Lexi and Azalea, but those matchups were already a coin flip because they do so much damage to you and have so much disruption or on hits that matter. So that is still a coin flip matchup, but it is a little bit better because some of them are running Trench, some of them aren't. So it just really depends if they're prepared for you or not.
That is absolutely fair. So I think we're good. I think C. Well, you know what? We'll keep him pretty high on C. Give some respect to him. But yeah, just a hard hero for sure. All right, next one is Dash. Dash is always a freaking wild card. It seems like in every like big calling, there's like one in the top 8. But I personally, I kind of think she's in the Kano level. I don't really see too much happening with Dash. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, Dash is pretty interesting. I don't think the fatigue build is good currently at all because like you're not
That
really
was the
like
only build I was thinking about.
really yeah it's just that matchup is not good against Lexi. Like all these other
Yeah,
characters, you're not like pretty good into. Like Levia outvalues you throughout the game in second
it's
cycle.
true.
Katsu can go too wide for you. Kano pitch stacks you. All these other characters can like have these really really big turns just to kill you. And then like the
Right.
boost matchup is so like you're just gonna get exploded on. So I still think it's a decent hero. I know people did really well in Birmingham with Dash. I,
Yep.
I do think she's
Matt
like
Rogers
I
took
actually think she's a
Dash.
B tier hero, but like the end of
Oh,
B.
okay. At the end of B. Okay. All right. We can we'll kind of see where B goes, but yeah, we'll keep her as high C,
Mhm.
and then we can I don't necessarily mind that. I just like it just seems like every other aggro deck just does it better.
Yeah, the
But
deck is really weird. Like I've played a lot of boost Dash, and like if you're drawing the reds and hitting the blues and the yellows off your banish, the deck is broken. But when you're drawing the yellows and the blues and you're boosting with the reds, you're like,
yeah.
damn, this is just a worse aggro deck.
Right.
So it's depending.
Definitely. All right, next up is another. I guess we're. Oh, it is just Arcane Rising Heroes. Okay,
Mhm.
next up is Azalea. One made the top 8 at the Calling Birmingham. Very impressive by Stefano, I think his name was. Um, but and like she has a good matchup into the most popular hero, which is Lexi. Actually, I think she has like a 50-50 matchup. To be honest, I just think Dromai is still relevant, quite prevalent, in fact. And so I wouldn't want to put her anything higher than B. I'm kind of in a B or C range.
Oh, I'm the opposite. I think that's a D character.
Oh damn.
I
Okay,
think
all right. We'll settle a C
Warmongers.
then.
I think Warmongers is like so impactful for that deck because
It
if you
is.
just
It
play
definitely
Warmongers
is.
against Azalea, you win every race with every aggro deck, right? You basically Time
Hmm.
Walker, like she does like 5 damage to you, and you're like, I don't care. Here's 25. I will always win the race now.
Yeah, that is kind of true. Yeah, I think. All right. We'll keep her at C. That's a little compromise. I think she has a good matchup into Lexi. Um, I don't know. Anytime if a character makes top 8, especially at a calling, I don't want to put him at D. But okay, let's talk about the last Arcane Rising hero, Viscerai. Um, I'll let you lead on this one because I'm stunned. I thought he would do so much better than what he's been doing.
Yeah, I think early into this meta, Viserai seemed like really, really good, and then it became the problem with him is that you lose to Lexi, which is like one of those like matchups that you want to be decently good into. I do think his draw my matchup's amazing, right?
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
I think sometimes he can be a little too inconsistent. His Icelander matchup's pretty bad. I think like some small variables here and there, but I do think he's a solid character right now. I think he's like a B tier character.
Okay, I kind of like that too.
I think
I
his
think
name's
his
Jake. He had a really good
okay.
showing in Birmingham. I think he like top 32 with Viscerai, and he was preying
That's not
on
bad.
the Dromize and like
Oh
dodging
yeah.
some Lexis is going through. And I think you can make a run with the deck, especially
Hmm.
if you're hitting well. I think he's just a solid character, a little inconsistent, but pretty much there.
Yeah, I he kind of reminds me of Dash, to be
Yeah,
honest. Like, yeah. I think Icelander making a resurgence is such a huge hit to him. Um, but uh, yeah, we'll kind of see. All right, I kind of want to do that now. If we're
yeah,
gonna put
yeah,
this right there, I kind of find Dash being there. Yeah, we'll see. I also had high hopes, or I had high hopes for him in the beginning, but yeah, the performance just hasn't been there. And yeah, you're right. It's just yeah, you gotta have that Lexi matchup to be anywhere in like the A or S tier at this point. Um, all right, well, here is the new heroes from Dusk Till Dawn, starting with Prism, the one that both me and you thought there just has to be a way to make this deck good, and I haven't been successful. I don't know about your end.
I just don't think there's I don't think there's any build currently that is good with her. I
There's
I think there's just something missing with the deck. Like you could definitely see, like if we had old Luminaris, I'd be like, yo, this
not. Oh
deck's
yeah.
top tier, bro. But like the every weapon option for her is just bad. You just also have a bad Dromai matchup, which is
Mhm.
like, yeah, you just can't do anything about it. Also, you have
It's
a bad
insane
I.
how old Lexi had a good Dromai matchup, and now old Prism had a good Dromai matchup, and now new Prism just has a terrible.
It's just the go again aspect, right? Like
Hmm.
you can't be able to deal with multiple things on their board, and you just lose.
Should this be a don't play
Yeah,
this hero?
I definitely would not play that unless you're Fino Black and coping, but like.
I think even he's off of it now, though. He did a great video coming to a realization. He was doing the Lord's work. He was really trying to solve her, and just don't think he got
Sometimes you're
there.
doing the Lord's work out here.
Yeah. All right, our new Shadow Runeblade hero. I'll definitely let you lead on this one because you were an avid chain player. So where does the new Shadow Runeblade Vincent go?
I was very excited about Vincent going into the set, and I've played probably 500 games of her. And let me tell you, I've never been more disappointed in my life of a character. I think there's so much potential, it just
Right,
never comes together. I did think I know the Runaways had like a 5-0 Vincent deck that
I
used
did.
Pummel and like all these other stuff, and I think that was really cute. I think more
I think that's a good word
into
for it.
I think more into the meta if people test against that specifically or other Vincent builds. It's just so hard for her to win games consistently.
Yeah. Yeah. She has to like take off turns, which if you're taking off turns, you better like I don't know, you better like win that game. Because it's just too demeaning. I don't know if I want to put her in
No,
F.
I think
I
she's
feel
a D
like
tier character.
yeah, I feel like
Like
she could be played.
I thought about actually playing her for a little bit because I think
Okay.
she's good enough for you to like play her, but I don't think she's good enough to like. If I saw one in top 8, I'd be very surprised.
Okay. Yeah, I would be too, honestly. I every man, everyone that would be whoever makes top 8 with a Vincent would be the new like Vincent person.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah. That's a name to fake. Even if it was just eliminated first round. All right. Next one, Arachne. I actually I actually think Arachne gets a little bit underloved. I think oftentimes this hero doesn't get played as like to as far as testing goes. I don't think it's good though. I don't think this hero is good. I would say this hero is probably around the same as Vincent level. This hero can take some games, but ultimately this hero is going to fall flat when it comes to like you're not going to get enough favor by the gym gods to have you miss all your bad matchups because your bad matchups are the most popular heroes.
Yeah. If you would have told me like if this tier list was last meta for like Pro Tour 3, I actually thought Arachne was like a super sleeper. And
Oh,
I knew some
let's
people that
go.
were like actually testing Arachne and were telling me like, "Yo, this is the next big thing." Like, we're
Mhm.
just like thinking about bringing it, and then they didn't bring it because they were like, "Ah, it's just too inconsistent." And I was like, "Okay, I don't think it's the time of the light, but I do think it's better than what people think."
Okay. All right. See. This is why I had you on, Peter, because we're true gamers. All right. No hero gets overlooked. Yeah. We'll see. I think it's still like, especially with Icelander winning 3 events in a row, there's going to be a little bit more Icelander. Dromai's still going to be prevalent because Dromai's Bay.
Hmm.
Prism didn't take that spot. And those are just two really tough matchups. Now, I actually think he or Arachne could do good into Lexi, but that's that's really not even worth arguing. Honestly, it's just no one's playing Arachne.
Yeah.
That's really yeah. All right, Lexi. Now this one is definitely I would say a solid A, but just recently the Runaways did a ranking and they had her at S. So I'm curious, what's your thoughts?
Oh, I still think Lexi's the best deck in the format.
Okay, okay.
I think like you still have a good like Icelander matchup, which is going to be like another one of like your big matchups. Dromai is a little bit harder, but you can always loop like Endless Arrow against them, which can like really
Hmm.
help in that matchup. Uh,
Definitely.
you also don't have to play against Oldhim anymore, which I feel
Yeah.
like is one of like the harder matchups and what you really wanted Bullseye Bracers for. And don't get me wrong, you don't really have an arms anymore, but like the
Yeah.
deck is so powerful and so consistent and has so many good on hits and the turns are so powerful. You can pitch stack, you can do anything with the deck. I think it's still by far the best deck in the format. I just think that the decks around it are better positioned, and Lexi's just that good though.
Okay, that I think that's pretty fair to say. I think that's a fair argument. I think I originally had her like A plus area, but I I have her at S now.
Mm.
I definitely see that argument there. I do think losing Bullseye Bracer did do more than what was at first expected, and she is not like far and away. Like I don't think she'll be the only hero on S tier. Me, from my opinion personally.
Yeah.
So I do think she isn't where she was last meta, but still very, very good. The best aggro deck for sure.
Oh yeah, by far.
Yeah. Okay, next one. Briar got a lot of love in the beginning. We saw two in the top eight of Battlehard in Cincinnati, and we saw a ton of Briar players, yeah, even at the calling, trying to be the one to retire her. But just really haven't seen the results. And I think she's probably a better Viscerai, but I probably wouldn't take her to a calling, to be honest.
I actually think she's worse than Viscerai personally,
Okay, okay,
but it's like not the. I think she's like the end of B tier.
okay.
I think
I'll put
like
her above Dash.
I think it's a
We'll
little
compromise.
like your Dromai matchup is actually worse than Viscerai's. It's not a
Sure.
buy. It's like
Right.
actually a game.
You do have to work for it. Yeah.
Yeah, you have to work. Like you would think it'd be just an auto buy, but I've watched the matchup enough from like top players that you're really working on that matchup.
Well, especially because Dromite now isn't big dragons. I mean, there's still big dragon Dromites going out there, but like a lot of it's battle mage, and so you're racing, and she has dragons.
Yeah, I do think like their more red line aggro kind of decks are really really good. I still think like the dragon decks have its like place in the meta. Like don't get me wrong, like the dragon decks are infinitely better into Icelander,
Yeah,
but I think the red line decks are better in every other matchup.
I'd 100% agree with that. Okay, so we'll have her at B tier in between the Vis and Dash. All right, next up, Icelander. This is the deck that I've been playing even in the last meta, and I'm gonna. There's no way in hell I wouldn't be playing this meta. Um, yeah, I think she's back. I think she's reclaimed her S tier throne. I think she is right there with Lexi, and she doesn't have a quote unquote bad matchup. I think even Lexi, where it once was like you could really get it fine tune it to be 40-60 Lexi favorite. I think now you can get it 45-55, which might be enough. It's shown to be enough at least with these last three winners.
Yeah, I think the deck is really really good. I do think it's the second best deck in the format. Like I would put it on S tier as well. And I think
Okay.
like the people that are really practice with Icelander and are really putting the hours in are like getting results in it. Like we had a back-to-back winner of a Battle Harden,
Yep.
and then we
Right here.
had like obviously won the Battle Harden in Birmingham. But I look at the outside of the top eight, and it just doesn't have the results outside of top eight, right? Like it's winning the event, and there's not another one in 32, and then it's
Right.
like multiple battle hardens in a row, and then maybe there's another one in top eight, or there's like one in 16, but there's just like not another one at the top tables, right? So I think the deck is really good, and your probably only bad matchup is Lexi, and like Jormai can be iffy on sometimes if they're big
If it's big
dragons.
dragon, yeah,
Yeah, against
yeah.
big dragons you could be a little bit iffy, right? But it's kind of crazy to me that a deck that has won 3 events in a row that are like you would consider like being top events would be like there's just not enough people playing it or like having also the same results. So it,
Right.
it feels like a Kano deck to me. to where like the wizards are so like if you're good with the wizards, you're winning with the wizards. But
Hmm.
the deck takes so many hours to learn and perfect that only those people are winning with the deck.
That's definitely true.
Which is
Yeah.
is why I actually really like Icelander. Like when Bolander was a thing, when Michael Hamilton was on his like couple like tournament tear, like I would explain to like Magic players or like this is like the deck that like so many people cannot play correctly and like could be considered not one of the best decks in the format, but this dude is winning every tournament with it, and it's like you watch the games and you're like this dude cannot lose. And I still think Icelander's like that. Like you watch
Yeah.
the people that win the events and you're like this person cannot make a mistake. Every single thing is going like you can never lose with this deck. And then you watch some random dude next to you on table like on round 1, round 2 and you're like how does this deck ever win?
I think that's very accurate. That's honestly why like I have this Icelander series going on, and I broke it up, and it's like I don't know, probably 9 videos now. But I was like, you can't do this in one video. This deck is way too hard to just be like, this is what you need to do. Like, so I'm breaking it up in one. And I actually the latest video I did with Icelander in this series was I just did comments and over the final match at the calling.
Mm.
And the winner, Samuel, he actually watched that video and like because I disagreed with one of his moves, and he typed up a response and everything. So it's really cool. Um, but yeah, even at the very top level, you're right. You can't make mistakes with this deck. He justified his reasoning, and so I think he obviously piloted that to a win. So obviously he did very good. But yeah, this is a very hard deck, and yeah, like I said, I think she's still there. I think you're absolutely right. I do think we are going to see a bit of an uptick now, though. I think, like, we saw Michael Hamilton playing Lavaya
Yeah.
Battlehound in Cincinnati. That's probably not happening.
Yeah, like surely he plays Icelander at US Nationals, right? Like
Yeah.
the deck he's known for is good again. Like and it's not even it wasn't him. Like if I thought Icelander was gonna have a resurgence and be good again, I would think Michael Hamilton is like, oh, he brought the U.S. Nationals. Nobody thought Icelander would be good again, and here he is in the top 8. But it's
Yeah.
actually everybody else and Michael Hamilton not playing the deck.
It's bizarre.
It is. It's just bizarre. It's weird. I don't understand, but it's where we're at.
That's where we're at. All right. Well, I mean, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Okay. Let's move on. Let's move on to another newish hero. He feels new at this point. With Bolton. Um, he's not combo Bolton anymore. I don't think that's a deck that can exist with inertias, especially Icelander around. Channeling Frigid, done. But he's an aggro deck, and he's been getting some momentum with players, but the results just aren't showing. So, I personally, I kind of want to put him at the end of C, but I might have a bit of Bolton copium. What do you think?
I think he's a D character. I think
Okay.
he's the best D character. Don't get me wrong, but I definitely do think he is a D character. I was really excited for like Bolton, and then I played 10 games, and then I went, "Damn, that's crazy."
Still
let
feels
me
like
put
Bolton.
let me put this deck down.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, I'm gonna put him C minus. I got a lot of Bolton fans that watch this channel, so I want to do them this year.
Like, don't get me wrong, I really enjoy Bolton, and like I think that deck needs to be good at one point in time, right? But
Hmm.
that deck will be good when Icelander is LL'd and Lexi is LL'd, and then he's pretty good against every other character. But like,
Right.
it, I think a meta where you could play Bolton and you have like one unwinnable matchup and that's it. I think you can play him. But
Sure.
currently we have 4.
Yeah, yeah. No, I think that's right. I think he has a pretty decent Dromai matchup. I think
You think
that's
he's good
one.
into Dromai?
You know what? I'm not gonna really talk too much on it because I truly don't know. I did some Bolton tests in the beginning. I had some success to Dromai at that time, but I haven't tested Bolton recently, so I don't know. Maybe that's not the case anymore. Um, all right, let's move on. Let's move on to a hero that actually has had a bit of success, coming up in two top eights. Now these are both battle harns because we didn't see Levia here in the calling top eight. We actually didn't see Lexi either or Dromai, so it was European, and it's on par because Europeans always have an interesting top eight.
They really
Uh,
do have interesting top
they
eights.
do, they do. Anyways, I have a hot take on Levia, but I want to see where you would place her first.
I mean, it's an AT character.
Oh, you have a hot take too. Okay, so
I
this
mean,
is good. This
yeah, I mean, I think Levia is really good.
okay.
Not because I opened a Marvel Levia
You
like
did
yesterday,
it.
but no, I actually really do believe that like Levia is the truth currently. I think she's really good. I think she has really even matchups at the top of the tables. I think she can steal wins very easily. She grinds so well. Like the fact that you can turn into Blasphemous and then use every single banish card that you've played that game.
Mhm.
Like I've had so many games to where I've played like it's like the 2 for 6 or 2 for 5 that if you banish 3 and it's a 6 you get go again. You
Oh
basically
yeah,
can like
Dread Screamer.
yeah, Dredge Scraper. You can basically like loop your deck and then put like 6 to 7 copies in your banish zone, turn into Blasphemous, and then just play every single turn, have go again into something, go again into
Right.
something, go again into something. And
Hmm.
I've like milled people out. I've rolled a 6 on scabs and just attacked 4 wide. Like it I think the deck is really good.
Yes, I do think she is the best Burt right now, and she's obviously miles away from where she once was. Okay, I like this because this is going to be our first like hot debate here. I love Leviathan. I think she's an awesome character, and I'm all about her. However, I have a suspicion that just like in the last meta, where Azalea zoomed up, she was like, heavily like sought after. She was like, this, she's solved and blah blah, and now she's back at C tier. I think, me personally, I think she's right with Livia. I would put her above it. I'd even put her above Kano, but I kind of think she's a trap. That's where I'm at with her.
I, that's kind of crazy to me because I do feel like the deck is like one of the best mid range decks in the format. And I think like your late game is better than like
I do like the late game
yeah,
aspect.
I think the late game is better than like almost every character's late game currently. Except for like I think Icender's late game is always better than everybody else's, but
Mhm.
I think like the late game and if you get there, and a lot of the builds are like non blood debt early, playing like the 2 for 8s
Right.
and like you're kind
Yeah.
of like Reinhardt esque, and then and like playing Blood Rush Bellow, and then you just set up like this huge graveyard of like 20 plus cards, and then you're like, all right, I'm all in. I'm just attacking every single turn until the rest of the game until I die.
Right.
And I think that's really, I think it's pretty good. Like,
I agree.
she might
That
come
game is
down,
awesome. Okay.
but
Okay.
I couldn't believe that she's worse than a Viserai or worse than like a Dash or a Briar or anything like that.
Yeah, I would, this is my theory that this is where she's going to be. Currently, I wouldn't rank her this low, but this is where I'm thinking she's going to end up. Now, just to because I don't want to disregard what you're saying, because what you're saying is absolutely right. If you get to that point, I think it's the you're all gas at that point. Now I did as much testing as like Talishar would let me with Levi in the beginning. Um, I'm worried about Icelander. I'm worried about Lexi. Um, and since those two, or like definitely Lexi, and being the most represented, and then I don't know, because I guess you've been playing testing with her quite a bit. How's the Dromai matchup?
I think you're supposed to win. I
Okay,
Is it always a win? No,
no,
but I
okay,
think you're supposed to win.
I gotcha. That's kind of how I felt with it too. It feels like you're supposed to win, but like it's kind of like how Dromai can beat Bravo. It's like it can beat this deck as well.
You ever played like the Rhinar versus Dromai matchup of how you would just
Uh,
think that Rhinar is supposed to win every
yeah,
time, and
yeah.
then
No,
like
that's
you would
good.
lose, and you're like,
Right.
why? It's kind of like that.
That's absolutely right. I absolutely agree. It does feel very much like that.
I still think you're favored, but it definitely. I've talked to Dromai players, and they're like, yeah, it's a hard matchup, but it's not like unwinnable. And I'm
Right.
like, but it's illusions
Draw my
built.
players have the highest copium though,
Like,
so I don't trust
I
anything
mean,
they say.
Doug, hey, I play Kato.
Oh yeah, yeah. I am comfortable with her being B plus. I'm also comfortable with her being A minus. That's kind of where I see her
Yeah,
currently.
yeah.
I do like her over Viscerai and Briar currently. I just kind of I don't know. Someone show me. Someone like get there and win it with Salt Lake or like is there any other ones between this and Nationals?
Is that Lanza?
Oh, well, yeah, probably not going to go to Atlanta.
Well, it's at Lanza. There's also the AG Players Invitational.
Right,
That's
there
on
is
like
that too.
the August 11th, which I'm
Okay,
playing in.
yeah, you are. So yeah, that's right. I knew there was one. I just couldn't remember it. Okay, that was the one I was thinking of. I kind of forgot about Atlanta. Sorry. Okay, so do it there. Do it at Atlanta. I'm just not there yet with her. I don't trust her yet. We'll move on. We'll move on. All right, Uzuri. This is another one that's just like Dash, where you kind of expect to see Uzuri in the top 8 as a one of. She never really dominates, but she's always kind of in the fight.
I
I
put her in
kind of
like the
like
top
B
of B.
tier. Yeah. Okay. Cool. All right, we're back on
I think
track.
I think she's a good deck. I actually think people think Azuri is better than most of the time than she is.
Yeah,
Um,
I agree with that.
but there's not a lot of people that are like, oh, I only play Azuri, right? I think most people understand that like your Dromai matchup is really bad, and
It's got to be just nearly unwinnable.
yeah, it's pretty bad. But like you want to snipe the Lexies. The Ice Center matchup does feel pretty Ice Center favored. But I think you can like play out of it. And then
No.
I think Levia is really good for Levia. But like and then you have randomly bad matchups in like some of the other parts. Like Briar's really bad for you because you just get Channel Mount Heroic. Kano's terrible.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Azalea,
Wizards are tough for her.
yeah, Wizards are tough for her. Like Briar's really good into her. Then like I think Azalea is good into her. So you're like
Interesting.
playing. You're kind of like riding the line of you're really good against most of the aggro decks, but the exponential damage and the arcane decks are really good against you.
Definitely. Yeah, I'd agree. I think B plus is good. I think
Yeah,
that's exactly where it should be. All right. All right. I'm gonna say my Katsu thing. I thought Katsu was gonna be the next big deck if anything from Livia got banned. And so when the banning came, I was like, okay, because I personally think Bonds of Ancestry is a broken card. And if Katsu was in the same spot Levia was, people would be calling for that card to be banned. So I personally think Katsu is an A tier hero, but that might be a bit copium.
we just saw two in the top 8 of the calling,
We
right?
did. Yep. Yep.
I do think Katsu is good. I didn't think he was gonna top 8 the calling. Don't get me wrong. I thought you were gonna see like maybe like one or two in the top 16, or
Right.
like a couple in the top 32, and then people be like, oh, here's like the new Katsu deck that
Yeah.
nobody's seen, and then we saw
Yeah.
two in the top 8, and
Yep.
it's a European calling, so like they usually have like weird top 8s, but I think the players are really good. I think that's like the key. Is like they have weird top 8s, but I think all the players over there are really good, and I think I need to put more hours into Katsu. Like I've traditionally really liked Katsu. I think the Bonds is really good.
Mhm.
I do think that he randomly has less damage than these other aggro decks now.
Oh, interesting.
I've just kind of like thought about it. Like on average, your 4 card hand is usually a little bit worse than like a Briar hand, but your like average 5 card hand is like better than most aggro 5 card hands. So it's like it's a weird anomaly to me to where you want to play like these 3 4 card hands, but your damage is like a little bit worse. But when you get to that 5 card hand, your damage is better.
That's actually a good way to put it because I think that sums it up pretty well. Well, I guess it kind of also depends on do you have the natty too, where you don't need that extra card. Like
Yeah,
it's just
a lot of the time the game comes down to you have like 3 cards in hand and you're like the 2 for 5 surging, and your opponent goes, I'm gonna block it for 6, and then you're like, all right, here's 5 go again, or here's 4 draw a card. And if you can do that multiple times during the game and they don't have a good answer against it, you're probably winning, because
yeah,
now you're on the 4 step, and then now the next turn, if it's
it
also good,
gets that
you're in
much better.
control.
Yep, yep.
But he does
I
brick.
He does. He absolutely
He
does.
does brick.
There could be games where you never get the natty, which is like not often, but not uncommon either. It's kind of like it's kind of like the room blade problem. Like there's times where you will just get no attack actions, and it's like, yeah, that's a game killer.
I had a game yesterday where I drew double razor, double ancestral, and I was like, huh.
Oh,
I just looked
oh
at my hand
man.
and I was like, I just took his entire hand too, and I drew up and I was like,
Oh,
Kadachi,
Kadachi.
razor, Kadachi. I'm gonna pass.
Oh man, that's rough. Yeah, that happens. Definitely happens. All right. I don't think we'll have to spend too much time on this next hero. Our boy Riptide here.
Yeah,
I
that's an
think
S-class
Riptide.
hero.
He's an S class. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Nah,
definitely. Yeah.
that shit. Don't never play that character.
Yeah, I don't know. I have hope for him, but just not now. I think.
Bull, the Bullseye Bracer ban actually hurt Riptide so bad.
It actually hurt him a ton. He got
I-
hit by collateral damage.
It literally did. Like, that deck had potential, and like you could maybe copium your way into playing it. And now
Yeah.
I'm like, yo, you can't.
No, yeah. I would say he was, at the bottom of the C tier at that time. But yeah, he's poor guy. Dorinthia, I think Dorinthia isn't the D tier, but I don't think she's really past C tier either. She did lose her worst matchup, which was Oldham, but now Icelander's here, so it's like, oh, cool. Like you still got a bad matchup in the top, and then you're still racing with Lexi. So I do think she's like, I might even put her better than Azalea.
No, I think she's worse than every character in C.
What? Even
Yeah.
I kind of think she's better than Bolton.
No, I actually think Bolton's better than Dory currently.
Whoa.
Yeah, I've watched it. Like, I think the matchup specifically is Dory favored versus, over like Bolton, but I think Bolton has better matchups.
You might. I don't know. All right, you know what? I gave you your love. Yeah, I'm getting this.
Okay.
All right, Reinhard. I wanted so much a Scouting Fleshbag. I think that does help him, but I don't think it doesn't help him enough, I think. And so I think he's a solid C tier hero.
Yeah, I think he's the best C tier character.
Yeah. We'll give Kano for the like you said, the few Kanos that'd be A tier, they're the one that's keeping Kano at the C plus tier.
Yeah.
All right, Bravo. We can get back up here now. I think. I think Bravo is in a very good position. I think a lot of Oldham. I mean, we saw it with Pablo Pintor. A lot of Oldham players are just kind of shifting on over to the next Guardian. I think he's a solid A tier. I actually like him as like the top A tier. What do you think?
I am an iconic Bravo hater.
That's so true. I forgot about this.
I'm an iconic Bravo hater. I've always said that deck is copium, and every time anybody ever talked to me about Bravo, I was like, bro, just play Oldham. And now I can't even say that.
Okay.
And
yeah, that's true.
Randomly, he's just good. All right, I'll concede the fact that like he's actually good this meta, and it's not copium.
That's very big of you, Peter.
I will say this. I do not think he'll win. I don't think he has a chance of winning U.S. Nationals. I think like the problem is that the Icelander matchup is Icelander favored. I think you're probably good against Lexi, and then I think the Levia matchup is actually really close.
I can see that.
And then I also think that this is like old me, but I thought Katsu Bravo was like one of the most interesting games I've played at early Fab, and I don't know what the matchup feels like anymore, but I think he's really good. I think obviously a lot of the older players will just like automatically go to Bravo, and I think that's really good. I think there was old Bravo players that now are just like Starstruck is so good. Starstruck is just a really good card.
It's great.
Uh,
Yeah.
but I think he's good. I can see the fact that he's good. I think he's the best AT character, except
Okay.
for like, oh, besides Dromai.
Yeah, that's that, and that's the next one we have to talk about here. Yeah, Dromai is. I think you have to have her in A tier. Like she's not. It's so weird, man. I'll be honest with you. I see Dromai's results, and so it's like, oh, solid A. But then, like when I think about Dromai, I'm like, how's this like not like B or something? I don't know. I don't. I have the opposite of Dromai Copian. I'm like you with Bravo. Like I recognize she's good. I just don't get it.
I think she's good. I think like if I'm looking at this meta, right? Like your Lexi matchup is supposed to be pretty good. Like it's winnable for both sides, but it's supposed to be good. And
Mhm.
then if you're playing more of the big dragons, the Icelander matchup is supposed to be better. But if you're playing Redline, you can still win the matchup because you have like untargetable things, obviously. But
The Battle
it's
Mage seems like it has is a better option right now.
yeah, the Redline Dromai build is the best build.
Okay.
Personally, I do
Hmm.
think you can have very good success with like the dragon build, and I've seen it. In California, there's a whole bunch of players that still play the big dragon build, and I think they're doing really well out there. But I think the red line you're gonna see a lot of it at the next like battle hardened and like U.S. nationals. I think you're gonna see a lot of it as well, and I think it's good. Uh, it is kind of weird because you look at the cards and you're like, oh, this is under 8, but it's like the whole like permanent like evaluation of how cards work, which is like really hard because the amount of value the card gets is depends on your opponent.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, that's the whole illusionist thing. It's like, yeah, these are high rate cards, but if you're facing a Bravo that's going to pop every single one, then it's like, hmm,
Oh yeah, Bravo is also significantly worse than Oldham. That's what the
yes.
Dromai players say is that like Bravo is so much worse than the Oldham because you can just die.
Yeah, no, yeah, that's the thing. Bravo can just get over and just like really pound you, and like he has the hammer, like the Anathos hammer. Now, I think it's really cool that he's also running Titan's Fist with Steel Blade Buckler because I thought that shit was good on last meta, so I'm glad to see it's coming around. So he still holds a little bit of Oldham remnants, but yeah, whenever I was playing Bravo and I faced the Dromai, if the Bravo has one remembrance, I feel like the Bravo can't lose. I don't know. That's
Yeah,
honestly how I feel.
I think the end game of instead of Oldham that would just like, oh, I'll kill this dragon and fatigue you. Like
Yeah,
Bravo will just kill you.
yeah,
Like he'll use one card and pop your dragon if you don't have Miraji or Chromai, and then he'll just be like 9 dominate.
yeah,
Here's 8 dominate. Here's nine
yep,
dominate, and eventually you just run out of armor and you run out of defense reactions, and you die.
yep.
And he will always have every like I think like 80% of his cards are poppers at this point. So it's
Yeah,
like he, him having a 4 popper hand is way more likely than Oldham having a full popper hand, and that's how
definitely.
you lose end games with Dromai. And like
Mhm.
in Bravo, it just happens more often.
Right. Yep. No, definitely. All right, we got one more here. I'm gonna definitely let you take the charge as you have won a battle hardened with this guy. So you guys got some love to each other. Where do you see Fi?
It hurts me because I
Okay.
think this card, I think this deck is actually better than what it gets credit for.
Okay.
Uh, but it is like a beta character. It's
Got
not like I think it's better than what most people would put it at, but it's not as bad. Like you're basically playing a Katsu deck that does more damage annually, I would say, but you don't have like the Omega high roll that Katsu does.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Um, like he does. It just feels like he gets it one turn where Katsu can have it like 2 turns or something.
Katsu can block,
Yeah. Oh,
which
that's
is
also true.
which
Yeah.
is the difference, right? Is like in this meta, I feel like you do need to block a decent amount. Um,
Yep.
and Katsu can do that a lot well. He has a lot more 3 blocks, and it's really good. Fi, something that Katsu and Fi can do really good is play Warmongers. like pretty freely
Oh
because
yeah, yeah.
it's a
They're
zero
like
cost blue that
war
blocks for
easy
3.
done.
And I've won a lot of games as Fi, where you're just like playing against a Runeblade or you're playing against like Dromai or Lexi, and you're just like, okay, I would be playing a Lava Burst, but let me Arsenal and play this Warmongers, and then now your turn is like four, like 4 go again, right? And then now I have like I draw up, it's 20 damage, and then you try to win from there.
Yeah.
I do think if you draw Art of War versus most of these characters in the first 3 turns, you will win.
Okay.
But if you don't draw Art of War in the first 3 turns, you will lose.
So you just gotta run more than 3 Art Wars. It's really that simple.
Just hit.
Yeah, just hit. You know what? I think we did pretty good here as far as the shape of the graph. Maybe if we had one of these heroes there, it would look a little better. But honestly, I'm fine with this. I think this is pretty representative of what we kind of expect. I think honestly, these two are probably our spicy picks here that we'll get a lot of disagreements on. I don't think you can argue with these. These are pretty solid.
Yeah, the top 4, I don't think you can argue with.
Yeah.
But everything else, I think you can shake up a little bit. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, Peter, I greatly appreciate it. I know you got an armory to go to. I have to still do post-vacation cleaning. But I will see you at Salt Lake Battle Harden. And then we will see if our planned tier list comes to fruition and if it actually becomes something. So
Yeah,
appreciate you
100%.
coming on, man.
What are you bringing to Salt Lake, by the way?
Oh, Icelander, 100%.
Are you playing Icelander?
100%, and it's Bulllander. What about you?
I'm bringing Kano. What do you think?
I know. That's why I was thinking. I was like, it's Kano.
I think it's one of those things where it's like I've been winning with the deck, so like why not play it? It is like the only thing, and yeah, I mean, I'm confident in playing it, but I would doubt to see another Kano anywhere near the top tables. Like I will be on the top tables with Kano, and I will never see another Kano.
Yeah, I think I'd 100% agree with that. All right, well, let's find each other in the top tables. What happened to the Wizard Mirror? And I hate that Wizard Mirror. You don't have to play too differently. You'll have a different staff, but I gotta play 100% differently.
Wait, I had to pick stack. What do you mean? Everybody else I don't have to pitch stack against.
That's true. You don't have any more pitch stack players. No kidding.
There's one matchup where I pitch stack now.
Yeah, that's actually not bad. All right, Peter, I appreciate it. Thanks for those watching. And then, until the next time, keep on fabbing.